Hi there, Colleen Adrian here. So what to do when your child or your teenager has attitude? I'd like to share a connected parenting approach with you today. So first of all, labeling whatever they're saying or doing as attitude is really common, but it can be experienced by your child as judgmental or your teenager, even if that's not your intention. So a really good alternative is to try to understand your child or teen's underlying emotion. Are they irritated? Are they mad? Are they discouraged or disappointed? So it helps to get really curious. And it also really helps to treat their emotion and the experience that they're having as important and with caring, because whatever's going on for them probably is important to them. And that approach does two things. First of all, it helps them to understand themselves better. It helps them to gain some self-awareness about what emotion they're actually having and take some responsibility for it. And it also helps your relationship because in the process of getting curious about what they're experiencing and how they're feeling and expressing some care towards them, they actually feel understood and cared about. So it supports your relationship and your connection as well. So there's lots of good things that come from approaching it this way. And the second thing that I want to recommend or suggest to you is that you pay some attention and do a little reflection to where they might have learned it. So often a child or a teenager's words or responses is something that they've heard elsewhere in a similar situation, and they've heard somebody else use that response or approach. And so they've just kind of picked it up. And I can honestly say that when my son was young, often when I heard him say something, that sounded like attitude or was a bit snippy, I often recognized either my own intonation or my husband's or somebody that was close to us, right? So they learn it, and often they learn it fairly close to home. So it can be really helpful to do a little reflection on where they learned it. And if you're recognizing it as something that gets done by the adults in your family, that's an opportunity to think about how you really want to handle situations like that, and I guess bring a little bit more, I call it leveling yourself up. That's what I called it when I did it, leveling myself up and just kind of being the best person I can be. So it's an opportunity to kind of look in the mirror, notice something that maybe isn't, your best way of behaving, and improve it a little bit by noticing what you value and just shifting things. If it's something that they've learned at school or elsewhere, it's still an opportunity to do some teaching, but I recommend making sure that you do the first step that I talked about in the first half of this video, of acknowledging what their true feelings are and really offering some empathy and some understanding to them so that they feel not judged. I recommend doing that process first. And then at some point, either after that discussion or even after a little bit of time has gone by, when everybody's calm and there's a little bit of lightness in the relationship, then you can have a conversation about what kinds of things they might have said instead. So what are the other options, right? And that can include not only, what their feelings were, but it might include a discussion about, like, what did they need in that moment? Is there something that they need from somebody else that they're feeling annoyed that they're not getting? And can they make a respectful request for that, for whatever they need, right? So starting to excavate and understand what's going on underneath is a really important piece of this process. And often, if you've been able to accurately understand what's going on for them and offer some understanding, often they're fairly willing and able to kind of get on board with whatever you're suggesting for a different way to handle it, okay, or a different way to respond verbally. So I hope that's helpful. If you have questions or comments, just pop them in the comments below. Thanks for listening.